Do you know the difference between glycemic index and glycemic load? If you are living with lipedema, this is an important distinction to understand so that you can really level up your nutrition and not fall victim to some of the pseudoscience floating around in the lipedema communities. I want to start by just breaking down these different terms. Glycemic index is a measure of how a food would raise your blood sugar in relation to pure glucose or sugar. It doesn't necessarily take into account, however, how many of those carbohydrates in that measurement are impactful on your blood sugar. It's just a shot in time. It doesn't give us the whole picture. Glycemic load is the measurement of a food against glucose, but it takes it a step further and it looks at the impactful carbs, the net carbs, and these are the ones that are more likely going to keep our blood sugar elevated and remain spiked, so to speak, instead of being able to recover to baseline. Because your body is going to have to process the fiber and the water in some of these carbohydrates that may have a higher GI level, but a lower glycemic load. So it's really important to understand that concept because there are foods like carrots, for example, that have a higher glycemic index. So at first look, we think, ooh, that might be high in carbohydrates that you may not want to eat. But when you look at the glycemic load of carrots, you understand that carrots have high water content and they have relatively low net carbohydrates. So your body's going to have to work to digest those foods. And it's really not going to be that impactful on your blood sugar. And I can tell you, I have tested this out many times over with my blood glucose monitor here that I wear relatively frequently just to kind of test foods out and break through some of these pseudoscience thoughts that float around in our community. Ultimately, what we want to do is we want to stabilize blood sugar because stabilizing blood sugar helps to lower inflammation, it diminishes our cravings, and it also helps stabilize fatigue because when we have an upward spike followed by a sharp crash, which is what happens with more refined foods, we can feel more tired and it initiates all those other things that I just spoke to. So focus on foods that have a low glycemic load and don't eat fewer carbohydrates. Eat smarter carbohydrates, my friends. Hopefully this message helps you level up your nutrition and think more solidly and more nutritionally about what carbohydrates you're choosing to put on your next plate. See you later. Bye-bye.